Do you feel like an imposter? Let's talk. Hey guys, welcome back to another Mind Right Monday. I'm your host, Bonnie Kelly. Today we are talking about imposter syndrome. Now, if this is something you struggle with, then stay tuned because I'm going to talk about 3 tips on how to overcome this imposter syndrome. If you're kind of wondering, well, what is that? Let me start with the definition. Imposter syndrome reflects a belief that you're inadequate and incompetent failure, despite evidence that indicates you're skilled and quite successful. So this is where maybe on the outside world, you have things together. Maybe you have your home life together, your work life together, or your finances together. And to people on the outside, you are that person that they can come to in struggles and when they're need advice because you always have the answers and you're so strong and confident and comfortable. But underneath that, you feel like you're a fraud. You feel like worried and constantly wondering, when is the shoe going to fall? When are people going to find out the truth? When are they going to know that you're not enough, that you're a failure, that you're stupid or inadequate, or that you're not capable? Now, I don't believe any of those things about you. I believe and know that you are successful, that you are capable, and that you are worthy and complete. But the imposter is going to feel inadequate. The imposter is going to be constantly worried that everyone else in the world is someday going to know the truth, that they're not as great as everybody makes them out to be. So today we're going to talk about 3 ways that we can overcome this imposter syndrome. Because if this is something you struggle with, we need to start to shift this belief a little bit. Because everything in your outer world and what everyone believes is probably more accurate than what you believe about you. That you are amazing and successful and talented. So we need to align the inner vision with the outer one. So let's dive right into my very first tip, which is acknowledge and identify the game. Okay, so the very first thing we need to do is we need to call out the fact that we feel like a fraud. Yes, it doesn't mean post it on Facebook. It doesn't mean you need to go barge into your boss's office and say, I feel like a fraud. But acknowledgement is the first step. We need to kind of get out from hiding behind this mask and this facade and admit that we don't really feel as strong as everybody thinks us to be. Why we want to acknowledge that is we open the opportunity or the door for support and for change. The longer you hide from your truth, the longer you hide this insecurity, the stronger it's going to be. The more energy it has, and the more ways it has to continue to control you and your dreams and desires. So what we want to do is we want to acknowledge it. And maybe you want to acknowledge it with a trusted advisor or a friend, somebody that you know isn't going to judge you and is going to maybe guide or support or uplift you as you're healing through this process. Now, when I say identify, well, you need to identify the game. How do you play the imposter? For many people, it's going to come through being a perfectionist, right? You're always going to need things to be perfect, and you're controlling or micromanaging things and taking on projects or responsibilities that aren't always yours. Another way it can come through is that it's the never enough, that you always have to have more money, more titles, more stuff, and it's like it's never enough, never enough, never enough, because it's the fear of losing it all that's driving that momentum. Or it could be through, titles and recognition. Is that we have to be achieving more and being the best because the truth is that we're afraid that everyone's going to one day find out we're not enough. So you need to know how you play the game, right? So we need to identify the how you're doing it, even more so why you're doing it. Like, what is the insecurity under the surface? And we need to acknowledge that we're struggling with this in the first place. That's the very first step. All right, now let's move on to the next one, which is recognize you're not perfect. No one is. Okay, so one of the biggest hang-ups or the struggles with people that struggle with imposter syndrome is this constant need to have everything right. So you're going to stress 10 times more than other people when it comes to making a mistake or looking bad. Because you're already so afraid people are going to find out the truth that you're inadequate or that you're not enough or that you're a failure. And because we're so worried about that being the truth, and we're putting on this front, we're putting on this mask, you will overcompensate when you make mistakes or you struggle. So you really need to get to this point where you recognize failure is inevitable. You're gonna make mistakes, and nobody's perfect. And when you can get comfortable and okay with screwing up sometimes, you're gonna have a lot more ease in letting this identity crisis go. Now, reason why I say this is because of the fact there's so much pressure and tension that is held up in putting up this facade that we're perfect and strong and the best and all of these things, that eventually that fakeness or that false identity is going to crumble. But where you might struggle is that you forget to separate you making mistakes from being a mistake, from you failing from being a failure. So we have to recognize that making mistakes is inevitable. You're going to mess up, but it doesn't mean that you are a mess up. We want to separate the failures and the screw-ups from your belief in your identity. That's a keen way to be able to separate or start to overcome this imposter syndrome. All right, leads me to my third and final tip today, which is change your mental and emotional programming. Okay, if you're new to me, then this statement might be a little bit like, what is she talking about? Check out some of our other videos. I have a ton of information on reprogramming the subconscious mind and changing the way and taking out the mental garbage. But one of the key things we need to do is we need to change kind of the mental and emotional programming. A lot of the programming you're operating on now is kind of false programming. What that means is that your identity is tied up in a way that isn't truthful. Though it feels truthful, it's a lie. Because deep down inside, the truth is you are enough, and that you are capable, and you are worthy, and you are successful. Because if you struggle with this, most likely you're an achiever. You've accomplished a lot in your life, but you don't give yourself any credit for it. You will chuck it up to it being, a fluke or just luck, and not the fact that you're skilled and capable. So you really want to kind of reprogram that mental and emotional programming and start to know that who you are is enough, that you are capable, that you are success. So start by making a list of all the things that you've achieved or accomplished. And you have to take it beyond the list. You really have to get in a place where you start to feel grateful and appreciative to each one of those successes. So each time you say it, say, I'm proud of myself. I accomplished this. I funded my 401k. I invested in my retirement. I bought life insurance. I purchased a home. Whatever the success is. And really take pride in that. Not in an arrogant sense, but in a sense that starts to support the true identity that you are successful and you are capable. Well, hopefully this video has helped you. If you have a personal development question, make sure to email, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Each week we bring you a new video with tips and tools on to help you get your mind right in 10 minutes or less. So good luck, and until next time, I'm Bonnie Kelly. Did you enjoy this video? I sure hope so. As I mentioned, each week we bring these videos to you, but if you're ready to start your personal development journey right now, like right now, then click the link below, 21day.emotionaldetox.com/free. And you can start to reprogram your mind in 10 minutes or less. This is a way to start to eliminate all the mental and emotional toxins that have built up in your mind and start to get clear and confident right now. So try it out. It's free, no credit card required. Link is below. Until next time, I'm Bonnie Kelly.